high level, our lab is interested in developing computational tools that let us understand the way that cells and living beings work.
We design new proteins to solve problems that proteins in nature don't solve, ranging from medicine to technology to sustainability, better treatments for neurodegenerative disease to breaking down plastic. The methods we're developing are all generative AI methods. So generative AI is really absolutely central to what we do.
RF3 as a tool really enables scientists to understand not just the structure of proteins, but what proteins themselves interact with.
The models are being used, and researchers around the world try and come up with better ways for predicting molecular interactions, designing new proteins, and as a part of our mission is to make all these tools available so that the whole world can benefit from them.
I believe very strongly in making all of the computational tools that we develop here at the IPD freely available to the public. It's going to really be fascinating to see some of the new things that we can discover.
Welcome to Microsoft Ignite. We are so happy to have you here at the Microsoft Foundry model session. So we're really excited to have you here. So the backdrop is we're in a phase of the AI journey where we're seeing a transition in the way that people, enterprises, developers work and develop with AI. We started in a place where people had one model, lots of different ways to interact with the models, all kind of disconnected. But now we're moving to a phase where enterprises, organizations like yours, work with multiple different models, tailored to different use cases, and build multiple agents working together to accomplish tasks for your enterprises. Whether you're in pharmaceuticals, finance, manufacturing, or retail, this is the way things are going. And it's a world where agents are observed 24/7 for continuous improvement, and so that you can monitor them and improve them, all built on a unified, secure, trustworthy framework that's called Microsoft Foundry. So you've probably heard today, maybe you've been in some of the sessions where we talked about the AI app, an agent factory that the Microsoft Foundry is, which is built on a foundation of the models. We're going to be talking about the models in this session. That's where all the AI tokens come from. That's what the agent service agents run on. And those agents take advantage of your enterprise data and in IQ and leverage tools in like MCP and other ways to get at your enterprise data in a secure and trustworthy way. And you can also customize using machine learning. And all of that runs on what we call the control plane, where you can look at all your agents and work with them, see what they're doing, and improve them over time on a common, secure, and compliant framework. So today, you're going to hear about how customers are using Microsoft Foundry to take advantage of AI and offer the best capabilities to their customers, to their end users, within their corporations, and to their customers of their applications. And so you're going to hear about how you can choose from different types of models for different workloads. You're also going to hear about how you can scale them up to billions of tokens and trillions of tokens. And then also how you can use these models both in a performant way as well as a cost-effective way. So we're going to get to that in a second. But instead of one last thing, we're going to start with one big thing.
If only I could find a way.
I get chills watching that video. I just love that video. So we are really proud to announce that Anthropic's Claude models are now available on Microsoft Foundry. So let me ask you a question. What do you think the #1 thing that people ask us, our customers ask for Microsoft Foundry? Any guesses? Just shout out. Okay, #1 is tokens. People want API quota. They want millions, billions of tokens. And the #2 thing that customers ask us, Anthropic Claude models. Absolutely. So we're really so excited to bring you the power of these models to our customers. Now, Anthropic and Microsoft, it's actually, we just announced this morning, a wide-ranging partnership that we started with developer productivity. We started offering Claude models in GitHub Copilot and Copilot Agent a while ago. Then we moved on to end-user productivity, offering these models also, the top agentic coding models, also in the end-user productivity space. And today, we announced the availability of the Claude models in the Agent Factory. So you can take advantage of these rich agentic capabilities of these models in your applications as well. And who better to tell you how to use these models than Brad Abrams, who is the head of product of the Claude Developer Platform at Anthropic.
It's such a pleasure working with the Microsoft folks to get this launch out. We're very excited to have Claude on Azure models. As you said, I'm Brad Abrams. I'm the product lead for the Claude Developer Platform at Anthropic. And we're thrilled to be able to target some of the world's best developers who we know are on Microsoft. We're really excited to be able to reach, we did this one. Sorry, the slides are off. Okay, at Anthropic, we've always been really focused on increasing intelligence of the model. And that's really important to our safety mission. And we think that's actually very important to enterprises as well, because the headroom for intelligence is just so much higher in the enterprise. You see, a consumer can't really tell the difference between a model with a high school level understanding of biology and one with a PhD in biology. But you know who can? An enterprise doing drug discovery can. And that pattern holds true across many industries and many verticals. And so the headroom for intelligence is just higher in the enterprise, and that's why we're excited to go do that. And so that's why for a long time we've been focused on really trustworthy computing with features like citations to help eliminate hallucinations, with truly agentic coding with tools like Claude Code. We have standardized the MCP protocol to help bringing services into your agents, and of course, our partnership with global scale cloud providers like Azure. Nowhere is that intelligence felt more than in coding. Many of you, I'm sure, use GitHub Copilot. Who uses GitHub Copilot? A few of you in here? Yes. And so it's really, our Claude models have been very successful in a wide range of agentic coding apps. But coding is also a really important horizontal. It literally makes every other vertical significantly better, whether that's finance or healthcare or many others. So we think of the Claude Developer Platform as your infrastructure for intelligence. Just like the cloud has become our infrastructure for deployment, we think that Claude will become the intelligence layer for your software. And we're offering a set of building blocks that you can compose your own solutions to, so you don't have to conform to somebody else's idea of what great is. And we can connect those with MCP, powered by some of the world's best models. And the best thing is we have all of our agentic capabilities are available today in Azure. Whether doing skills to do something like creating Excel documents with skills, or converting a large legacy code base, getting real-time information with web search and web fetch, dealing with infinite context with memory and context editing, grounding your answers with citations, or saving latency and cost with prompt caching. But that's not all. we're also making Claude Code available via your Azure deployments as well. So now your whole company will be able to use our leading agentic development tool right from your deployments on Azure. And you can use that in our command line tool or via Visual Studio plugin, the IDE. And we also have the Claude Code SDK, so you can embed that in your app. So let's switch over to a live demo. Live demo sounds good, huh? So what I've done here, or actually Claude Code, has done is create an agent that uses web search and web fetch to learn all about the Claude models, and then uses skills to create a presentation for you about Claude. So while that's running, let's switch over to this tab where we have Claude Code running. And this is Claude Code running on Azure. And it's examining the code we just saw, and it's going to tell us why this is such a great demo for this audience. So we'll give this just a second to finish. You can see Claude Code has a bunch of tools that it's using to read and write files in the file system, and really considering kind of what the best answer is and what the best presentation for you is. So it thought for 11 seconds. I'm sure this is going to come in just a second. Yes, so here we go. So what it says here is, it's a meta demo. Claude generates a PowerPoint presentation about Claude's capabilities for Microsoft Azure. It literally demonstrates its own abilities while explaining them. That's a brilliant self-reference. So don't you love that from Claude? And it's telling it uses skills, web search, code execution, and the Files API. Let's switch over to Visual Studio and just take a look really quick at the code for this. This is written in Python. It uses our Python client library. But just today, we launched the C# client library, so that's available for this release. And you can see we're using our Azure Foundry credentials. And then it's just a one REST API call to do the whole thing. There's a simple prompt here, which I invite you to copy if you would like. And then we use our Anthropic skill for PowerPoint creation. We have our own custom branding skill. Steve, who you'll see in just a minute, gave me some notes ahead of time, so I want to make sure I incorporate his notes into the presentation Claude creates. And then we're using code executor, web search, and web fetch to get that done. So I think I've given Claude enough time now to finish creating the presentation. So let's look at what it did. So we kicked this off just a second ago, and you can see it used those skills. It did a web fetch to the Anthropic docs. It did a couple of web searches, and then it got all that information together, and then it started building a PowerPoint presentation from scratch using the skills that we gave it. And this is the information it's got. So you would like to see the PowerPoint presentation? Okay, let's see, and you're seeing me do this live here. So open this PowerPoint presentation, and look how beautiful this is, a 4-slide deck, again, all from scratch. Claude's introducing you to Sonnet 4.5, which is our workhorse model here. And notice this great quote we have from GitHub, so I don't know if you see somebody from GitHub here, you can ask them about that. And then we see this little note from Steve here to make sure we plug Azure AI Foundry, so we did that. And it looks like we... Thank you. It looks like we did that on every slide. So Haiku is our fast and cheap model, and Opus is really for deep reasoning and creativity. That's all the time I have for you. Thank you.
Let's see here. So, all right. Thank you, Brad. And Brad and we will be here after the session for any questions. So, just one more word about, well, not one more word, but one slide about Claude in Foundry. So it's not just about the Claude model. We have Claude available across the whole agentic suite of the Microsoft Foundry, starting with the models, but also you can use Claude now in the agent builder, in the playgrounds, in the agent service. You can build workflows using Claude as the foundation. You can use Claude in the model router. That'll be coming soon, where you'll be able to send a prompt, and then the model router will automatically pick between those Claude models. Opus, which is super powerful and a little bit expensive, and then Sonnet, and then Haiku. And the model router will choose the best model for your task. And then we've also got all of the API tool capabilities that the Claude platform offers. Brad showed the skills, and he also showed the web search, but there's also stuff like being able to fetch web pages, code execution, Bash tool. Bash is actually one of the most powerful things that the Claude can actually use to help with your agentic workflows, working with files, searching through files, and actually even doing things like probably sending emails or executing different commands. So we're really excited to have Claude in Microsoft Foundry and to see what you build on top of Microsoft Foundry using these latest models. So with that, I'm going to hand things over to Steve.
Fantastic. Thank you, Keiji. So it's a super exciting day for us. Some of us may have been up very late last night getting it done with the Claude on Azure and in Foundry deal. And so with that announcement, what I'm also super excited to do is to start talking and showing you how customers are using all of the models on Foundry. And so please join me with a huge round of applause for Zhang Tao, co-founder and CEO of 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. Come on out.
𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is a general-purpose AI agent that people through intelligence. Recently, we released wide research and 𝗦𝗲𝗀1.5. Wide research enables AI to truly orchestrate compute in parallel, executing complex tasks simultaneously. 𝗦𝗲𝗀1.5 not only accelerates task execution, but also allocates additional reasoning time and computational power for more complex problems, delivering deeper, higher quality results. From our global launch in March to today's new milestones, many of 𝗦𝗲𝗀's core capabilities are powered by Azure AI Foundry, integrating cutting-edge multimodal models like Sora, GPT Image, and Whisper. Behind these models is the Azure AI Foundry, Microsoft's powerhouse for next-generation AI innovation. It brings together the world's leading foundation models, advanced tools, and enterprise-grade infrastructure, all in one platform. It's where creativity meets compute, and where the next wave of intelligent agents begins. 𝗦𝗲𝗀 brings these capabilities to life, so anyone can build, create, and make things happen. And together, let's push the frontier of intelligence to empower humanity with AI.
That's amazing. Just before you start, I have to say, we are in this agentic era. And when we first met, and I learned about the 𝗦𝗲𝗀 crew and the amazing things you were doing, I was just blown away about how they're really bringing agents to life. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing.
Yeah, actually, like here in 𝗦𝗲𝗀, we are kind of like being the first general agent. And what is a general agent? It's just some agent system that is not designed specific for one purpose. Like last year, you will see there are many like sales agent, marketing agent, right? But the 𝗦𝗲𝗀 is just doesn't like one of them. 𝗦𝗲𝗀 is a product, is a system that can solve a very open-ended problems, a very long tail of different type of tasks. And that's something we are building. And why we think a true agent is very important is because the name agent is always about the meaning behind it. It's always about the agency. And what makes 𝗦𝗀𝗀 really different is we are trying to build in the real agent, which has the agency to think by its own and act by its own. I think that's why we went super viral back in March. I think that's maybe kind of the first product a normal user can use. And because we are a general agent, we're not just like another coding agent. So we have to deliver many different type of outcomes to our users, which means users are expecting 𝗦𝗀𝗀𝗀 will deliver a poster for them, or maybe an ads video for them. Sometimes it's slides, it's web pages, sometimes it's like a markdown, or very different type of files. And to achieve that, behind 𝗦𝗀𝗀𝗀, we have to integrate many different multimodality models into 𝗦𝗀𝗀𝗀. Like we are using Grok image to edit the image. We are using like a GPT image to generate the image. We are using Sora to generate the video. And that's kind of like the atomic capabilities we are talking about. Because, we kind of find out the way we build software just changes very, very differently. Like, I was in this industry for 15 years. And in the past, we build a software like we have an idea, and we just design it, and we coding for it, and we just publish it. But right now, like the way we build Manus here, we don't have something in our mind that Manus is an AI stats generator, or Manus is an AI website generator. We just build the general thing, and we release to the market to see how users interact with it. And during that time, we found there's we call it the network effect of tools, is that you add one new tool to the agentic system, there will be more scenarios will be unlocked, not just the one scenario. And all these atomic capabilities are running on AI Foundry, of course. So that's like my last slide to talk about like why we choose Microsoft Foundry as our foundation. It's because on Azure AI Foundry, there's like many different multimodals you can just find in one place. And because in our internal evaluations, we have different verticals, and we will evaluate these different verticals for all these different models and to find which is the best model for a certain given vertical. And to achieve that, which means like on a daily basis, we have to evaluate maybe sometimes 20 or 30 models just for one vertical. And if we have to integrate them or connect them through different model providers, like because we are still a very small startup now, it will just be such a mess. But with the help with AI Foundry, we can just use one SDK, and it's just a unified API to call. It makes things very easy for us. Yeah.
That's amazing. I really love your vision, and I love the way that you're highlighting the power of the models. Now, we did start by talking about the Claude model. So let me just ask up front, do you use the Claude models in Manus?
Definitely. I think in the first 3 months, the only model that can support our agentic architecture is Claude model. So we're using Claude model from the very start because like its coding capability and its agentic features kind of be the best model in the world to support agentic systems. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I love the way that, over time, you've continued to add more and more functionality to Manus. When we first introduced, you were generating websites, and those were pretty cool. But now you're doing video content, you're doing posters, you're doing PowerPoints, you're doing so much more. You're completing plans for customers, leveraging all of these different kinds of models. It's truly, truly amazing.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hi, thank you.
So I love listening to that and saying, wow, if Manus can do it, I can do it too. But honestly, where do I start? Right? Like the vision that Manus just showed us with the power of those models is truly something I think every one of you in every one of your organizations should aspire to. And it starts with these 3 things. First of all, how do I select the best model? Secondly, how in the world can I scale for that viral moment when it takes off? How do I ensure that that model can scale? And then as it scales, how do I manage the cost to make sure that those don't scale out of control? So to help answer these questions, I want to invite up Naomi Moneypenny, our head of models. Welcome, Naomi.
Hi, Steve. Awesome. All right, folks, let's talk about some exciting changes that we have going on with everything inside of Foundry models. Hopefully you've noticed today we are Microsoft Foundry, and so that takes us to a bigger mission of what we want to do with models to power all of your agentic applications. So incredibly excited. Now, one of the things that I wanted to bring you is the best in everything that we do with Foundry models. And so when we look at our direct from Azure partners, we are looking for the best in the world and really bringing those capabilities to you. Oftentimes, these are things that you have requested from us, but it's also wanting to make sure that we bring you the capabilities you need to breed your agentic applications now. So with that, I do want to announce that we are also bringing Cohere's models to direct from Azure. Hopefully you're excited about that, because I certainly am. We've got a lot of things going on there. We have the REST search retrieval applications there. We can use it for the embedding models. And then, of course, Command A brings a great large language model, especially in the Canadian government organizations as well. And we think this is a great way to really bring sovereign AI, as well as amazing powers for your RAG applications. So lots and lots of goodness happening with Cohere. And we hope to bring those in early December to you as part of Direct from Azure. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about choice. We have so many models. We realize that inside of our catalog. There's more than 11,000 models. Can you believe it? So if there isn't a model out there that you're looking for, please let us know as well. We'd love to know. But we really want to make sure that we are bringing to you the best of those choices that you need. Again, we understand as agents get more specialized, as use cases get more specialized, we want to bring the best to you. And so we've partnered, of course, with our open source provider through Hugging Face. We have amazing models that are coming through NVIDIA. And now, of course, through the Direct from Azure piece, you can see the extension out. We have XAI's models, we've got Mistral's models, Meta's models as part of that, Black Forest Labs, and then Cohere. And of course, I can't say with any choices there, with amazing choices we have from OpenAI as well. Now, I just wanted to make sure that folks understand the difference here. When we look at Direct from Azure, these are ones that are first-party sold by Microsoft and served by Microsoft. And so you get a whole level of cert around this, around our support levels and our compliance as well. Now, of course, as part of that, our safety guardrails are on by default. And so if you're familiar with Azure Content Safety, it's a great way to be able to use these models. There's about 70 or so curated models as part of this, even including things like open source models like DeepSeek, right? And making sure, again, that we are bringing the very best to you in a way that you can easily consume it across all of your needs. Now, as part of this with Direct from Foundry, we have, of course, a great SLA that's part of this. You can see we are using these models as part of our own first-party products at Microsoft as well, right? So we're bringing the best to you and extending out all of those capabilities. We have them available in multiple regions as well as our data zones. And then, of course, we have SLAs for provisioned throughputs as well. And then, of course, we are announcing priority processing in this Ignite conference too. So another way to get low latency if you need those really quickly. Now, if you were wondering, what have we been adding recently, right? We have lots and lots of models that are coming into this. So I just wanted to take a moment to look at all of the Direct from Azure models that we've just shipped in the last month or so. It's a lot in here, and we continue to organize and make sure that we have more capabilities extending out for you too. So you can see here we're building out not just our foundational and reasoning capabilities as part of this, but we really have special emphasis on what we're doing with code and audio and image and video models. And you'll see us expand those out even more into the future. Of course, with image and video models, we've got things like Sora 2 that are available right now, but we'll also be bringing the latest from Black Forest Labs next week, which will be our Flux 2 model as part of this too. So please keep an eye out for that one. It's an exciting new release that's happening as part of this, and we want to make sure to bring it all to you as well. Now, of course, we have other partners in there like Mistral AI and making sure that we have GPT Image 1 and all of the new variations that are coming as part of that. So the best of all of the models that you need. And of course, I couldn't go ahead without saying something a little bit about Codex here, because that has just been an incredible rise from these latest models that we've shipped. And with Codex, we really are empowering developers across the world. It has been one of the fastest growing models out there. So if you haven't tried out the latest Codex Mini models, please do. We just shipped out GPT 5.1 and all of the variants last week for you, so please do check it out if you haven't. Now, let's talk a little bit about putting all of this into action. So I have the pleasure of bringing one of our amazing customers to the stage. We're going to talk a little bit about what Bill Flannery is doing. So Bill, love to have you here at the stage. He is the VP Advanced Technology and Head of AI at 𝗦𝗽𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks, Naomi.
Yeah, it's exciting to have you, so thank you so much.
You got the clicker.
Yeah, you can take this. So it's all good. So yeah, so when we were prepping for this,
Yes.
Bill, I wanted to talk a little bit. Folks may not be familiar with 𝗦𝗽𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, maybe the biggest AI company that nobody's ever heard of. I know you work in healthcare, legal, finance, accounting, lots of places. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing.
Sure, Naomi. So we're in the business of high stakes AI because of the basically industries we operate in. You know, and they're very highly regulated industries. Mm-hmm. So however we build our AI solutions has to take that into account. And so we really use an approach that we call technology with expert in the loop. We have a network of thousands of subject matter experts and practitioners who really help drive our product. Right? And then we've invested for the last 15 years in AI, you know, before Watson even, right? And we've in the last 18 months, we've delivered more than 20 AI capabilities into our products.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So yeah, so tell us a little bit more, because, you know, some of those industries that you worked in, maybe you all are familiar. I'm looking out at our crowd of folks here as well. Yeah. Things like security and compliance, they're not exactly synonymous with innovation and customer adoption. Right. So how are you managing that?
Sure. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And the way we do this is we kind of needed an engine to drive this, right? And our engine in our case is we have a centralized proprietary platform, right, that we use that has basically governance, security, and compliance at its core. But if you're going to do that, right, we need partners. And a key partner is access to models. And we use AI Foundry models extensively. And someone mentioned earlier, it's that having access to many different types of models, it's becoming more and more important. And even when you do things like optimize, you're going from the bigger model to the smaller models. So you need the whole plethora of the model availability, right? And what we're really finding that this approach has given us is the ability to unlock scale in our company, right? And we're getting accelerating the adoption of AI across our organization. And we have more than 1,000 users on this platform so far today. And what's really kind of cool is it's not just developers. We have non-developers using the platform, experimenting quickly and with ideas and testing them with customers, right? And then they can go and build a production solution, a responsible AI production solution. And so we're really seeing this kind of drive a pipeline of new AI capabilities into our products.
Yeah, that's really, really exciting. So yes, so beyond that experimentation, how are you shipping so quickly?
Yeah, let's see. So what we have is it's all about quality. Like quality has to go hand in hand with however we're moving quickly. And so what we have is a process around this continuous improvement cycle, right, that brings together through our platform subject matter experts, engineers, and other product people and others to really define what does good look like for what we're trying to build and create these evaluation metrics. And I can't emphasize enough the importance of the expert in this situation, in this process. It's really how we're bringing that expert in the loop of actually building the AI solution. Excuse me. And once we have those quantitative metrics, you can really iterate fast, right? And the other thing is you can continue to drive quality. Another really important thing is everyone who's probably done this is when you go to optimize and get to production, and maintaining quality is key. A key enabler is having those metrics, right? So and you can optimize for cost or latency.
Exactly. So those are great examples because obviously with the plethora of models that we have, obviously being able to test these out really quickly has been so important for you.
Yes, very
so
much.
Let's go into a specific example. Tell us a little bit about a specific app that you've been developing and let's talk about that solution.
Sure, I'd love to. So let's talk about UpToDate Expert AI. What sets UpToDate Expert AI apart is the kind of the breadth and depth of the clinical expertise that's behind it. And we couldn't cut corners here, right? And it's patient care. And so we had a dedicated team of practicing physicians and pharmacists, along with a network of more than 7,000 other clinicians.
Wow.
Who really helped lay that groundwork so we could get it right. And a key part of that getting it right is the most trusted and verified clinical content in the industry. And so we created that team where we had the clinicians, my team, our UpToDate engineers and others define those evaluation metrics, right? And once we had those metrics in hand, we were able to really put our foot on the gas and we were able to deliver this in 3 months. And we were able to get it to users, early access to users, because that's another really key part of that continuous improvement is having users get access to this. And so, excuse me, once we did that, the key part of getting this out to deployment was AI Foundry models.
Yay.
Yeah, of course, I'm sure that's why you want to hear. So and the reason is there's really 2 reasons for that. One was we needed that secure and compliant access to models, right? That's for sure. But the other challenge that you often face is as you go to get and have the capacity you need to handle your production workloads. And I heard that mentioned earlier. So we have over 3 million users on UpToDate, and excuse me, and we use the provision throughput units, the PTUs, and we also use the data zone provision throughput. And we were able to meet the demand in order to be able to launch.
Incredible.
So with that, there's a lot more. That was our first version of up-to-date Expert AI, and there's a lot more to come. But let me show you a little bit about what we did.
Awesome. Awesome. So thank you so much, Bill. Woo. I want to have to ask you one more question because it's kind of amazing, right? Because you've launched this within 90 days.
Yes.
You've grown this to 3 million users already, and you had human in the loop, and you had experts in there, and it's all valid, and it's an amazing system, right? So tell me, what's next into the future for you all?
Yeah. No, what really excites me is we're able to now really build AI solutions for purpose and tangible impact, like up-to-date Expert AI. It's kind of a really great place to be, right? And it's really cool working with like-minded talent and partners who really want to move fast, but also really want to have that impact, right? And I started my career as an aerospace engineer. And the one thing I get to use from that is I can say it's not rocket science, but AI may not be rocket science, but it is a hell of a launch pad to build those impactful solutions. And it really helps to work with partners in order to get that done.
Oh, it's amazing. That's amazing. Thanks so much, Bill. It's such a privilege to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Awesome. So with those amazing customer examples, we will, of course, want to inspire you to go and build your own applications. So a few things that I wanted to mention. We didn't have time for everything in this session, but I do want to make sure you know all of the goodness that is happening. Lots of Ignite sessions this week, and then for folks online, you can also catch these online as well. But just so you know, some of the newest announcements we have. Of course, we took this to general availability with GPT-5.1 family last week. Happened on Thursday and Friday. It was a crazy week right before Ignite launch, but if you haven't checked out the latest models, please do. As I mentioned, coming soon, we have Cohere Command A Embed for Re-Rank 3.5 coming from Azure, so that will be available in a couple of weeks. And so we'll also be bringing Black Forest Labs' latest Flux model, amazing in-painting capabilities and technology there for image models. Now, a few other things. Of course, we announced general availability for Model Router. So if you're wondering what model should I use, hey, let's just make it easy for you and use Model Router to be able to have great prompt efficiency, cost effectiveness, and be able to try out the models that you need specific for your use case. We also have priority processing going into public preview. So this is a fast lane, if you will, for making sure that you have those optimizations available to you and without having to have a provision throughput capacity piece as well. And then the next piece is, of course, we have dynamic spillover happening. So if you have even more demand on top of your PTUs, you're able to use this and manage your traffic more effectively too. And then we have the general availability of prompt caching as well. So just an incredible set of announcements that are coming as part of all of this. And of course, we want to make sure you are ready to build. Please do check out our latest next generation interface on ai.azure.com. You can see all of the greatness that we have there for Foundry models and many more things that are happening this week as we announce through. Check out, of course, the Anthropic models, Cohere models coming in a couple of weeks, and all of the goodness we have from OpenAI. They're available already. And then check out the SDK and all of our documentation. Last thing I'll just leave you with is this, just a little bit more on all of the different sessions. So we have lots of sessions happening. We've got great ones happening for ROI happening on Thursday and many more to understand. So if you're more of a business audience, you'll really enjoy hearing from a lot of different customers that have great investments and how they've gotten recouped from their AI investments, and then making sure that you can actually check out all of these pieces for autonomous enterprise systems, how you're building agents with reasoning, and frontier labs that are coming up with the latest, greatest models, especially in protein folding. So with that, I will leave you with just one more customer example, and we'll check out what's going on. Thank you so much.
AI 서비스에 대한 니즈가 많이 올라가고 있고요. 특히 그냥 일반적인 AI 서비스가 아니라 자신의 그 개인적 니즈에 맞는 고객에게 개인화된 서비스를 제공하려고 하고 있습니다. 많은 통신사들이 변화하는 고객의 기대에 맞춰 진화하고 있습니다. 그래서 SK 자체적으로 대규모 맞춤형 AI 솔루션을 빠르게 구축해야 했는데요.
고객들은 일상을 함께할 지능형 파트너를 원합니다. 안전한 AI 어시스턴트를 기대하죠.
네, 이러한 니즈를 충족시키기 위해서 ADAT 고객 경험 앱을 확장했는데요. 이때 AI 기반 인사이트와 에이전트들이 주요한 역할을 했습니다.
신규 기능을 빠르게 배포하기 위해 성능과 안정성, 비용 효율성, 그리고 보안 요건을 모두 갖춘 파운드리를 선택했습니다. 현재는 Azure OpenAI의 GPT-4.1과 GPT-4.1 미니 모델을 활용해서 AI 에이전트를 개발하고 있는데요.
이를 통해 통화 요약이나 할 일 목록 생성 같은 멀티 에이전트 기능을 구현할 수 있습니다.
특히 한국어나 상황을 이해하는 능력처럼 기본 모델의 역량이 아쉬운 부분은 세밀한 조정을 통해 추론력과 대화 능력, 그리고 정확도를 높이기도 합니다.
Azure의 PTU 요금제를 통해 사용자 트래픽 증가에 맞춰 앱의 처리 용량을 효율적으로 확장할 수 있었습니다. 또 Azure를 사용한 덕분에 모든 데이터 처리가 국내에서 이루어져야 한다는 한국의 개인정보보호법 준수도 용이했습니다.
오늘날 벌써 ADAT은 1000만 명의 이용자를 가지고 있고요. 이러한 속도는 굉장히 이례적이고 빠른 속도입니다.
SK는 파운드리를 통해 에이전트 서비스를 빠르게 모니터링하고 개발 및 배포하며 업계 선두를 유지하고 있습니다.
고객에게 의미 있고 개인화된 디지털 경험을 제공하기 위한 SK의 혁신을 보여주는 대표적인 사례가 바로 ADAT입니다.
Fantastic. For those of you that are left, I'm just going to say, feel free to come up and ask questions if you want. We'll get all the speakers out here, and thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.